Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we unravel some of South Africa's most haunting stories, where the truth is often more chilling than fiction. Today we travel to Joza Location, a densely populated township in Makhanda in the Eastern Cape. Known for its rich culture and tight-knit community, Joza is a kind of place where neighbors still greet each other and children play freely in the streets. But on the 4th of October 2023, the laughter of one child was silenced forever. This story is deeply painful. It involves the tragic loss of a boy who had dreams, who had hope, who had his whole life ahead of him, but his life came to an end not at the hands of a criminal, but while undergoing what was meant to be a spiritual cleansing. Before we begin, please note that Thando is not the child's real name. Out of respect for the family and to preserve their privacy, we have chosen to refer to him as Thando. This case is more than just a crime. It's a mirror reflecting the complex intersection between traditional healing practices, desperate parenting, and the tragic consequences of unchecked belief systems. It challenges us to ask hard questions, like where do we draw the line between cultural respect and medical responsibility? Who should be held accountable when tradition turns deadly? So join me as we unpack the tragic and unsettling case of Thando, a 10-year-old boy who died under the care of a spiritual healer. A story that shocked South Africa and raised legal and ethical debates and left a community in mourning. Thando was just like any other child his age. He was energetic, full of curiosity, and with a smile that could light up a room. He was doing well at school, but he began to experience what his father described as changes. He was losing focus, becoming withdrawn, and his father, not knowing what else to do, sought help. Not from a doctor or a psychologist though, but from someone with spiritual authority in the community. A woman named Ntombenja Limbo, a traditional healer known for her visions and healing practices. For many, she was seen as a vessel of hope, but for Thando, she would become the last person he would ever see. The date was the 4th of October in 2023. Thando and his dad arrived at the healer's modest home in Joza Location in Makhanda. Thando was in good spirits that morning. He was joking with his dad and seemingly healthy. Without a proper consultation, the healer began treatments immediately. Her first instruction was that both the father and the son were to be handed a bucket with 5 liters of salted water. The goal, you may ask, it was to induce vomiting, a cleansing ritual to expel whatever was wrong inside them. Thando struggled with the water. His father managed to finish his bucket, but Thando left nearly a liter undrunk, vomiting very little. Afterwards, Thando said that he was not feeling well. He was tired, he had a headache, and he just wanted to lie down. His father thought that the process was actually working because the father trusted the healer. As Thando lay on the couch with his head in his father's lap, the healer suggested another treatment. This time though, an enema using another 5 liters of water. Her reasoning, she claimed she had a vision of something inside Thando's stomach. The child was exhausted, but he was woken up for the procedure. Over the next several minutes, the healer administered the enema repeatedly. Thando began to cry. He told his father he was afraid. He begged them to stop. Thando said, "I feel like I am going to die." But the healer insisted that it was just the evil spirits resisting. Another enema was prepared. This time, though, it was mixed with soap and administered again. As the treatments continued, Thando's condition worsened. He grew weaker, less responsive, and began foaming at the mouth. His father watched in growing concern, but still trusted the healer. As Thando lay barely conscious, the healer poured water into his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth in one final attempt to expel the so-called evil spirits. She then stepped away to call her mentor for guidance, admitting that her efforts were just not working. Meanwhile, Thando's breathing became abnormal, shallow, and slow. The mentor told the traditional healer to call an ambulance. But instead, Thando's father, now seeing the severity of the situation, ran to a nearby clinic where he was informed that he should bring the boy in immediately. But by the time the help arrived, it was unfortunately too late, as Thando was already unresponsive. The doctors tried to save him, but unfortunately his organs had already begun to shut down, and he was declared dead shortly after arriving at the clinic. Now let's take a moment to recap what happened in the story. So Thando drinks 5 liters of salted water as instructed by the traditional healer. Thando declares that I'm not feeling well, I feel dizzy, I've got a headache. He's then forced to lie down. But as he's lying down, the Sangoma goes further and gives the kid 5 liters of water as an enema. As the kid is on the ground, he's weak, he's not feeling well, he's given an additional 5 liters of water. Right? Now, as this kid, just as he's given this 5 liters of water, the Sangoma comes back and gives him a third treatment, but this time with soap water, an enema again. Thando's dad is in the room with the Sangoma. As all of this is happening, the dad is in the room. Nobody calls an ambulance in this whole situation. A child is dying. They can see that he's weak. Nobody calls an ambulance. The dad believes that the process is working. The Sangoma declares that Thando is faking it. Or if he's not faking it, it's the demon inside him that is resisting. That's what's happening. By the time the dad actually sees that, no, this child is actually dying. This situation is bad. It's severe. He runs to the clinic. He explains what happened. Brings the boy to the clinic. But unfortunately, it's late. And why is it late? Because his organs have already failed. The doctors cannot help the child anymore. So by the time the child gets to the hospital, unfortunately, he dies. Now, it's also so bizarre to actually imagine that this happened in 2023, not in 1942, in 2023. So is it ignorance? Is it blind faith? What is it? I mean, who must be held accountable in such a case? Like, is it being irresponsible? Just, guys, I don't know. Just give me your take on the comments. Let's have a conversation about this, because this is absolutely sad and disappointing that such things can still happen in 2023 in South Africa. The trial was held at Makhanda Regional Court. Prosecutor Kwezikazi Mankonti laid powerful evidence against the spiritual healer. A medical expert testified that had Thando received proper medical attention after the first enema, his life could have been saved. The human body cannot safely absorb 15 liters of water, let alone a child's body. Thando's organs were overwhelmed, his brain began to fail, and still, the healer had insisted it was all a part of the spiritual process. The healer Ntombenja Limbo did not deny any of the events. Instead, she admitted everything, yet she insisted that she did not believe that she had caused the child's death. She claimed that Thando was simply pretending to be in pain, like all the other children she had treated before. When asked how a pretending child ends up unconscious and unresponsive, she had no answers. Ultimately, she was convicted of culpable homicide. Surprisingly, the court sentenced the traditional healer to 9 years imprisonment, suspended for 5 years, a non-custodial sentence that sparked public outrage. The state argued for a harsher penalty to send a clear message to other traditional healers: recklessness that endangers life must carry real consequences. But the court took into account her age and personal circumstances, and so, unfortunately, she walked free. Thando, however, was gone forever. This story is not just about the dangers of unregulated spiritual practices. It's about the desperation many families face, about the intersection of poverty, belief, and hope, and how in trying to save a child, a parent can end up making the most devastating mistake of all. Traditional healing is deeply rooted in African culture, and for many, it plays a valuable role in their spiritual and emotional lives. But there must be boundaries, there must be accountability, and there must be awareness. Thando was only 10 years old. He should be here today, running through the streets, playing with friends, going to school. Instead, his name is now remembered in court records, news stories, and the hearts of everyone who hears his story. Let his death not be in vain. Let it be a warning. Let it be a call to think twice, ask questions, and always put the safety of the child first. Thank you so much for watching True Crime Tales. If this episode resonated with you, please like the video, subscribe, and leave a thoughtful comment below. And tell me, would you have done something differently as a parent? How do we balance culture and safety? Leave a comment below and we'll have a conversation. Please stay safe, stay aware, and remember, not all healers heal.